Okay guys, today I'm going to show you how to build a team of 17 AI agents, or let's say an entire army of agents that can automate your entire life. This system has access to all the softwares I use in my personal life on a daily basis. It has 17 agents in total, 2 director agents, 5 manager agents, and 10 tools agents, and it also has over 30 different tools that it can call, and they can all work together in order to execute any different function. To give you some examples here, it has access to all my contacts. It can manage my Zoom account, my email account, my YouTube account. It can do all sorts of actions inside my Google Drive. It can manage my LinkedIn account. It can generate and publish content. It can find me targeted leads. It can find me details on hotels, flights, restaurants. It can do research on pretty much any topic, and it can also do outreach on WhatsApp and email. These are just to name a few of the capabilities of the system, but it also has a lot more. I'm going to be making this entire blueprint available inside my school community, so if you want to go ahead and download it and use it for yourself or sell it or develop it even further, you can do so. Also, if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, my name is Yanis. Some people call me the AI prophet, as I proudly like to wear it on me as a badge of honor. And I run an automations agency where I help businesses build systems like this. And I also run a school community where I teach other people how they can make money by building and selling these systems like I'm doing from anywhere in the world remotely. So if you're interested in any of those two, there are going to be links in the description. For now, let's dive in. Okay guys, so the first thing we're going to be doing is we'll be giving the agent a few tests just so you guys can see and get to experience what some of the capabilities of this system are. After we do the test, then I'm going to walk you through the architecture of this build and how everything connects and how all the agents communicate with each other. And then of course, we're going to dive into my N8N account, and oh boy, I have a plethora of different workflows to walk you through, and we're going to take it node by node. Now let's go back to WhatsApp. So I'm going to send it a quick voice message right here. Hey agent, I am thinking about traveling to Amsterdam between March 10th and 20th. I want you to do some research and find me the 3 cheapest flight options from Cyprus to Amsterdam during these dates. Also, find me 3 affordable hotel options in Amsterdam that serve good breakfast. And then keep in mind that we're going to be 2 people. Also, include all the information inside a Google document and then email it to my friend Yanis and ask him of his opinion on the prices as well as the departure times. Thank you. So as you can see, this is a long query, 37-second voice message. And the way the system is set up, guys, as we're going to see in a little bit, every time I trigger it through a voice message, it's going to respond to me back with a voice message as well as a text message. And then every time I trigger it through text, it's only going to respond to me with text. Now, if I go to N8N and go to the main agent, pretty much like the on the executive level, I go to executions. You can see that it just started running. So let's wait a little bit and see what kind of output it provides. Okay guys, so as you can see right here, it's been a couple of minutes and the agent completed our request. So it said that I found 3 cheap flight options from Cyprus to Amsterdam. I located 3 affordable hotels in Amsterdam, and then a Google document titled travel information has been created. So this is a link right here. And then of course it sent an email to Yanis. It kind of butchered my name, but that's okay. So I'm going to play you the voice note from my phone. Hopefully you can hear this.
All tasks have been successfully completed. Here's a summary. 1. Flight
Pretty cool,
options. I found the 3 cheapest flight options.
So hopefully you could hear this, guys. It pretty much converts this entire text into speech. And then if I go to my email, you can see right here that it just sent me an email. Of course, I use my own account. And it included the link right here. And then this is the document that includes all the flight options and the hotel options as well. So now let's go back to the agent. Let's give it another query. So in this case, I'm just going to ask the agent, hey, can you update the title, description, and tags of my new YouTube video? And I provided the link to it. Of course, this is only going to work if you're sending links of your YouTube videos on your own account because in the background it's calling the API to your YouTube channel. But this is a very powerful feature that you can use every time you, let's say, upload a video. So let's wait and see what it comes up with. Okay, so as you can see here, it says the title, description, and tags for your YouTube video have been successfully updated. So let's go back to YouTube and now I'm gonna refresh this. So as you can see, the title, the description of the video, and as well as the tags, which cannot see, but here they are, as well as the tags were all replaced. Can you tell me what Zoom meetings I have coming up tomorrow? Okay, so now it's going to go ahead and call the Zoom agent and it's going to find all the Zoom meetings I have booked in on my schedule, and it's just going to give me the details. And then I want to see if I'm able to send a reminder to one of the people that have a call with me through the agent directly. So as you can see, it returned my 3 meetings for tomorrow. One is a call for my agency, and then we have a call for my school community where we're going to get on there with all the members and I'm going to help them either troubleshoot their automations or help them with their business related / marketing and sales problems. But anyways, now I want the agent to go ahead and send a reminder to this guy right here about our call tomorrow on email, just so I can maximize the show up rate on my sales call. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And now again, the agent is running in the background and is going to send a reminder email to our guy. The reminder email was successfully sent to Troy, and this is of course not Troy's email, it's my email. I just replace it in the contacts sheet just so you don't get to see my prospects information and personal details. But if I go here to my email, you can see it sent a reminder email. Hi Troy, this is a reminder about a scheduled call on February 8th. Looking forward to speaking with you. And of course, we could have also included the specific Zoom link there, but I haven't done that. Keep in mind again that this is a very surface level of the capabilities and powers of this system. It can do a lot more stuff. I'm not going to go through all of it right now. Let's dive into the architecture and then also let's have a look at all the workflows inside N8N. So what you see on my screen right now is the entire logic that this system abides to, and I'm going to leave this inside the description just in case you want to have a deeper look. But I think it's important we take a couple of minutes to go through it just so you can understand the entire architecture of this AI system and why it's built the way it is before we dive inside the N8N workflow. So as you can see, we have 4 different layers. So layer 1 are all the executive agents. Then we have the manager agents. Then we have the worker agents or tools agents, or some people call them. And then below those, we have all the tools that the worker agents can call to execute whatever your initial query was about. What triggers this system is a WhatsApp message or a voice message on WhatsApp. So I created a WhatsApp bot using the Meta developers platform, and that way I can give a number to my agent and I can interact with it through WhatsApp just like I would with any other real person. So when the agent receives a message, this is how it gets triggered, and that query that you send goes into a planner agent. Now the planner agent really has one job and one job alone, and that is to create a prompt for the director agent. So the planner agent pretty much has an entire understanding of all the agents inside the system, and based on your query or what you want the agent to do, it's going to create a very distinct and specific prompt for the director agent so it can initiate the process. Now you might be wondering, why do we actually need to have a planner agent and a director agent? Why not just have a director agent? But the truth is, guys, that the more control you have over your system, the better outcomes you're going to get and the more predictable they're going to be. So instead of just making it one step, just break it down into 2 smaller steps. Now, as you're going to see inside my N8N account in a bit, the planner agent is broken down into 2 planner agents. So it's not just one, it's 2. But only one of them can be connected to the director agent at a time. One of the planner agents is running Deepseek and the other one is running N8N. Now the reason I created an N8N agent too is because I was running into problems with Deepseek. Nothing performance related, it was actually performing better than the N8N, but their server was going down all the time, so their APIs weren't working. So I wanted something more reliable. I know this is probably fixed by now, but anyways, so the planner agent prompts the director agent, And then the director agent really has three different functions. The first function is to delegate the task to the relevant manager agent or manager agents. So it's just going to call the appropriate manager agent. Let's say you want to send an email. It's going to go to the communications manager. The second task the director agent executes is evaluates the outcomes it receives from the manager agent. So if it actually completed the task, then is going to provide the output to you, and if not, it's just going to try again. And then the last function it has is just to communicate back to the user, right? We added an additional gimmick to my system here. Whenever you trigger the agent via text, it's only going to answer you in text, but whenever you send the agent a voice message, it's also going to send you a voice message and a text. Now, the reason it also sends you a text is because you might want to get some sort of a link or some clickable information, so it wouldn't be practical to just have a voice message, but the agent is capable of communicating with you through voice messages. Now, the director agent, as I said, it communicates with all the manager agents, and then the manager agents kind of do the same thing to the worker agents. So the manager agent is going to communicate the query to the appropriate tools or worker agent, and then the worker agent is going to run the specific tools it needs to run. And the beauty of this, guys, is that they can all work together, right? So you can use all these manager agents in a single initial inquiry, and it's just going to run through the entire system, and it's going to deliver you the output straight into your WhatsApp account. Now, in some instances, when you run into an error, let's say you call the communication manager and it calls the email worker agent, but the email worker agent fails, it's going to try again. So this safety mechanism that the director agent has of reevaluating the outcome is actually represented in every single level of the system, just to maximize the final output that you're getting as a user and make sure you're getting the best results possible. But this is how it works, guys, on a high level. Again, I'm going to leave this in the description so you can go ahead and have a look. And now let's dive into my N8N account and just go through all these workflows, which is probably going to take a little bit of time to do, but let's do it. So I'm inside my N8N account, and these are all the workflows we're going to be going through. As you can see, we have a lot of them, so bear with me here. I'm first going to start out by breaking down the main workflow. Then we're going to be diving into all the manager agents, then the tools agents and their tools. So the main workflow is pretty much the first level of this setup. So it includes the trigger, the planner agent, and the director agent. Now, as you can see here, the way this gets initiated is every time our WhatsApp bot receives a message from us, the message comes through here. Now, if you want to configure WhatsApp inside N8N, you have to go through Mark Zuckerberg's website, Meta Developers Platform, and connect your account there. It's going to take you about 30 minutes. You need to provide them with documentation and ID stuff and all that. But once you're done, then you're going to get your credentials and your API, and you're going to be good to go. Then the message goes through the trigger to a switch. Now, the reason we're using a switch is because we want to be able to differentiate between text messages and audio messages, just so we can communicate both ways with our agent. It makes it a little more practical, I would say. So inside the switch, all we say is pretty much when the variable you get from the trigger is equal to text, output it with the name text, and when the variable you get is equal to audio, output it with the name audio. Now, based on that, it's going to follow two different lines of logic. If it's a text, all we do is we set up the variable and then we use it as the input of the planner agent. However, if it's an audio, we can't just plug that in directly to the planner agent. It's not going to know what it is. So first we need to convert it to text. So this is a purpose this 3 nodes serve right here. We first get the recording link from the trigger using the audio ID. Then we download the recording. So this is an API step that you need to configure with your WhatsApp API. Then we convert that speech to text using an OpenAI transcriber node. And then we set the new variable as text so we can use it as input to our planner agent. Now, moving on, guys, as you can see, we have 2 planner agents. The prompt inside them is the same. The only difference is the actual model that is running them. This is running Deepseek R1 and this is running GPT-01 preview, I believe. Yeah, so 01 preview. And to be honest with you, this one is a little better. They both work, so you can just unplug this one and connect this one and it will work fine. The only reason I have this connected is because sometimes we have problems with Deepseek. Their server is going down. Maybe they fixed it by now, but if their server is okay, then this is going to run fine. It actually works better. It also has memory. Now let's dive inside the planner agent and go through the prompt. And I think the prompt of these AI agents is by far the most important part of them, is what makes or breaks them. For this prompt, I think we used O3 to help us put it together. But let's go through it. So, role and purpose. You are the planner agent. Your sole responsibility is to create a clear, actionable prompt for the director agent based on each incoming user request. So here we give it its goals, understand the user's requests, formulate an action plan, produce a single prompt for the director agent. We give it context about all the agents and tools that exist inside the whole system, just so it can craft the best possible prompt for our director agent. I'm not going to go through this, but it includes everything. You can just get access to this entire template, guys, and just spend time going through the prompts. And then essential elements in the prompt of the director. So we also give it guidelines on how to craft the prompt for the director agent. So brief restatement of the user's goals, contextual details, ordered list of action steps. So it's going to know step by step. First, you call this tool, then the other one. This is what you do. Success criteria, and then communication and follow-up. We also give it some important notes. For example, minimize redundancy if the user's contact or content is already in-house, prioritize internal tools, use the research manager first to gather the required information. You know, a lot of stuff. This is a long prompt, guys, but it gets the job done. It works very successfully. And of course, it wouldn't be a good prompt without examples. So here are some examples of how we want it to prompt the director agent. We even give it extra guidance for specific agents that are they expect their input in a very specific format, let's say. We also say the current time is now, and the user's request is the input that comes from this variable right here, right? Or this one. So this is a planner agent. The Deepseek planner agent has the same exact prompt. Now, as I said, all the planner agent does, it crafts a specific prompt for the director agent. So you can see right here, the only variable inside the director agent is the prompt that the planner agent crafted. And then the director agent is running 4.0, I believe. Yeah, 4.0 mini. And then it also has Windows buffer memory. You can also connect Postgres memory to it, which I think is a little better, but this is what we have for now, okay? Now, in terms of manager agents, here is where it's connecting to all the manager agents, which we have 5, as you can see from our logic right here. So we have the communications manager, the project manager, the research manager, content manager, and sales manager. And then the communications manager, this description you give here is also important. It's going to give the agent clarity on which of the managers is supposed to call. So this tool is to manage any communications such as email, Slack, get information about contacts. And then of course you have to connect the workflow from this list, and also make sure that in the sub-agent workflow, you're using the execute workflow trigger. So this agent can call it and pass data through it. Same thing as a project manager, the research manager. This is a research agent. This agent should be used for all the queries connected to research. So now it's going to call the manager agent. The manager agent is going to call the worker agent the tool, and then it's going to do its thing. And then when it comes up with an output, it's going to send it back to the director agent. And then here is a little gimmick we added. If we initially connected or triggered the system via a text message, is going to provide us a text response. However, if we triggered the system through a voice message, it's going to go ahead and it's going to provide us both a voice message response as well as a text response. And you can see here it's going to generate the audio. So the JSON output is the output of the director agent. It's gonna convert that to speech. It's gonna send it to us via audio message on WhatsApp, and it's also gonna send us the text message. Now the only reason it sends us both when it's supposed to send us a voice message is because sometimes it has to send us like a link or something we can click. And of course, it's not going to be practical to send you like a link with a voice message. It just doesn't make any sense really. And the system is kind of too dumb to figure it out on its own. So let's move on to the communications agent right here. So as you can see, it has two triggers. Don't mind this one. This is really like for testing purposes. This is the workflow input trigger. So this is the trigger you want to use, as I said before, every time you want one agent to be able to call another one. This is running 04 mini, I think, or 40 mini. What's up with the OpenAI names, man? Can't they name them like in a simple way? Why do they have 04 and 30 and it just gets confusing, man? And guys, like I'm in the trenches and I can't even remember that stuff, so forgive me. But anyway, so let's go through the prompt of this agent, and then let's go through all the sub agents or the worker agents that it has access to, as well as the contacts. So as you can see, the query, the input of this agent is what comes through the workflow trigger that is being passed along by the director agent. You are the communications manager overseeing specialized sub agents that handle distinct communication channels. Your goal is to ensure streamlined, accurate, and effective communication by delegating tasks to the correct worker agent and verifying each action is completed successfully. Sub agents and their tools. Again, we give context to the manager agent about all the worker agents it has under it and all the tools it has. Those have under it too. And then we give it some decision criteria. So identify the appropriate worker agents. Check for known contacts, because this is a communications manager. Odds are every time it runs, it's going to need to contact somebody. It's going to need to get the contact from somewhere. Execute the communication task. Verify successful completion. So you can see here, confirm that each action is completed. If additional steps are required, example, follow-up questions or adjustments, iterate until the communication goal is met, and then maintain professionalism and logs. And of course, we give it some examples. This is how this manager agent looks like. And in terms of the tool of the sub agents or worker agents it has access to, as you can see, it has the email worker agent, the calendar worker agent, the Zoom worker agent. You know, the Zoom tool can get meetings and create meetings on Zoom, and also the WhatsApp worker agent as well. And then it also has access to contacts. So this is a document or a sheet that exists inside my Drive account. And of course, I'm just using this for like, explanatory purposes, but any contact that you add here, then this agent is going to, where is it? Communication agent. This agent is going to be able to pretty much get, so you can see get rows. It's going to be able to get that contact and then use, let's say, their email to send them an email, or use their name or their phone number to send them a WhatsApp message and all that. And then this edit fields section pretty much communicates the response back to the director agent so it can communicate it with us. So this is how this communications agent actually works. So now let's go to the project manager agent. So as you can see, again, same trigger. Let's see the prompt of this agent right here. Yeah, so we've used GPT-03 mini to help us come up with these prompts. Role and purpose: you are the project manager agent. Your only responsibilities to perform tasks involving Google Docs. When the user asks to create, retrieve, or update a document, assign the task to the Google Drive worker agent with one of these tools. So create a doc, get a doc, update a doc. And then here are all the steps. You can read them right here. Maybe you can pause the video. And then of course, here's a quick example. And then this is the worker agent it has access to. So this tool has access to Google Docs and Google Drive. It can create documents, get documents. There is an S missing there. Get documents and update documents. And it has access to Google Drive, so it can get the document ID. And then of course it also has access to contacts as well. This is the research manager. So we have one for travel research, so it can get restaurants, hotels, and flights. And then we also have a general research agent. This is pretty much used for research. It's also running GPT-4o mini. And let's see some of the, let's see the prompt of this too. So role and purpose, you're a research manager agent. Your sole job is to determine whether a user's query relates to travel. So flights, hotels, places. Assigned to travel research worker agent or anything else. If it's anything else research related, for example, you can ask the agent to, I don't know, do research on Elon Musk's father affair. I don't know, man. Probably had one. And then yeah, it's going to use this agent. The steps are identify the query type. If it involves flights, hotels, yeah, so we already covered that. And then provide the query, collect results, return findings, and then some examples once again, guys. So this is how it works. If it experiences an error, then it's going to try again. But if it's a success, and again, it's going to communicate the response back to the main agent so it can communicate it with us. So now let's move on to the content manager agent. So again, the same trigger here. Windows buffer memory is deactivated. I'm not exactly sure why, but anyways, so this has access to a LinkedIn writer agent, a LinkedIn uploader, and a YouTube agent. Now let's have a look at the prompt of this too. So you're an agent specializing in creating LinkedIn posts. You have two tools, each with specific inputs and outputs, and you must verify your own output after each task. If revisions are needed, you should refine your work accordingly. So these are the tools it has. So the LinkedIn poster, the LinkedIn rewrite, it can rewrite or adapt the existing material into LinkedIn style post. So you can pretty much like send it a blog post and it's gonna convert it. And then the YouTube agent can update videos or review videos. So this is actually pretty cool. You can just send a video link to your agent and it's going to update it, assuming it's on your account, right? The agent workflow, so determine which tool to use. Prompt for an agent with the LinkedIn tools. Okay, this is a long prompt. Then the LinkedIn writer, as you can see, this tool will be used when the assistant is asked to write a LinkedIn post. It's calling this workflow and it's inputting the data in this specific JSON format right here. So yeah, if you're rebuilding this, make sure you use it this way. And of course, you're gonna have to wait and see the tool that is waiting for this input too. Then we have the LinkedIn uploader. So this just calls the LinkedIn poster tool or the upload tool, however you wanna call it. And then we have the YouTube agent as well. So this tool updates the description, title, and tags of your videos too. And then again, if it fails, it tries again. If it works, then it communicates back to you. And then last but not least, at least in terms of manager agents, we have the sales manager agent. And what this does is pretty much has access to two agents. One of them finds leads through an Apify scraper, and the other one outreaches to those leads via WhatsApp or email. You can also do some magic to it and have it like cold call people if you want. You can do that, but I haven't done this here. So the lead finder agent allows the user to search for leads using Apollo through Apify, and then the appointment setter agent pretty much, let's just open it. This agent allows the user to call leads using email and WhatsApp. Okay, so this is how it works. I mean, again, it's using 4o mini. There's no point in getting into his prompt too. They're all the same, guys, pretty much, at least the structure of it. You get the picture. So now let's see what's next. Okay, so we just had a look at all the executive agents and the manager agents in this build, as you can see right here. So we covered layer 1 and layer 2. Now let's have a look at all the worker agents and their tools. So the first one we're going to dive into is this email agent. As you can see, this agent can send emails, it can retrieve emails, and it also has access to our contacts here, just so we can ask it to email a specific person or retrieve information from a specific person. It's a fairly simple setup. You've probably seen this before on YouTube. Of course, we use the execute workflow trigger, and the reason is because another workflow is calling this agent. Before we dive into the tools, let's have a look at the prompt of the agent first. Of course, this is a tools agent because it has access to different tools. Then the query comes from the trigger, and then the prompt. I mean, we went through so many prompts, guys, but let's also have or skim through this one too. So you're an intelligent email agent named email flow. You're designed to automate email communications. Your primary job is to send emails and retrieve incoming messages. So main components, function workflow. So we describe the agent, how we want it to run. Behavior instructions. So for example, it knows that when it fails, it has to try again. And if it succeeds, then it has to follow this route right here. But anyways, let's have a deeper look at the send email tool. Again, if you want to connect your email account, then first of all, you need a paid account. And second of all, you're going to need to configure your credentials inside the Google Cloud platform. So you're going to need to set everything up and get your access keys and set it up. And then we can see we follow the message function and the operation is sent. You get access to send and wait, reply, remove label, all that. You can configure this any way you like. In my case is sending an email, so it's really a simple job. That's why I'm using this operation. And then of course the to address, so the address of the recipient comes from the contact tool, which the agent runs first before it runs this tool, just so you can get the contact. And then the subject and the message or the main body of the email comes from our agent. So this is the get emails tool or get messages. So it kind of works in a very similar way. We run a get many operation because we want to be able to get as many emails or responses as possible from a specific address. And also we can limit the amount of responses we get. So if we prompt the agent and we ask him, hey, send me the last 5 responses from this email address, then it's going to limit up to 5 and it's going to only get responses from a specific email. So this is how this works pretty much. And then if it runs into an error, it just tries again. So it restarts the workflow. And if it succeeds, then it sends a response to the manager agent, which in this case, I think is the communications manager agent. The second tool is the LinkedIn rewrite tool. So what this does is you send it, let's say an existing LinkedIn post, and then based on that, it scrapes all the information from it and then it rewrites it in a way that you would write it. And for that, we're also using a third-party platform called Apify. Now, if you haven't heard of Apify, it's pretty much a platform for developers that allows you to rent different actors and website crawlers and stuff like that. So you can see here, YouTube transcript scraper, PDF text extractor. So it has a lot of cool tools that you can kind of rent or use occasionally just so you don't have to rebuild them yourself. This workflow is initiated by another workflow. And then the first thing we do is we set the variable of the URL. So this right here works with any written content, not just on the LinkedIn post. So it can also be like a blog post you found or somebody's newsletter. It will still work simply because of the actor we're using. So in this case, you can see in the trigger, we have this blog post pin. So if I go ahead and I open it, if it ever opens, so here it is. Mistakes as part of the journey, whatever. So now we can scrape this, or we can scrape anything we want really. Now let's go back. First thing we do is we set the variable. So this is the URL that we want to scrape. So we set it as a variable so we can use it down the workflow. And then we also set as variables our Apify API credentials as well as the actor ID. This is not necessary. You can kind of have them directly into the run actor node, but this is also like good practice, just simplifies everything. So you're gonna need to get your Apify API key that you get by going to settings inside Apify, and then the actor ID. This is the ID of the specific actor that you want to use. So let's say this actor right here, it has an ID inside the URL. So you can just copy this ID and paste it. That's how it knows which actor is supposed to call. And then we also provide the JSON of the actor too. So if you want to get that JSON, then just choose whichever actor you want to run. And then this is the JSON right here. In our case, we're running this actor in this specific workflow. So this one, the JSON we got from here. So you can just copy and paste this entire JSON into your workflow. And then of course in the JSON, replace the URL with a specific variable that we set before that's going to be coming through the trigger. So then once you do that, then you want to run this node, and this node pretty much initiates the actor run. So it makes an API request to Apify to call that specific actor with the data. So it's a post request. The URL is this one, and we just replace the actor ID. So it knows that it's supposed to call the right actor. And then the headers are content type, application JSON, and authorization bearer with the specific API of your Apify account. And then we're also sending a body that specifies, I believe this specifies the JSON from here. And then here's where it gets more interesting. So we get two options. The actor, of course, has to run. So when you call the actor, it's going to start running. But then before we retrieve the data, we want to make sure that the actor had completed its run. Otherwise, it's not going to have any data to retrieve us. So we can either wait for this, here is configured to wait for a minute, or you can also set up this node here where it makes another API call to Apify, and it sees, it checks if the actor had finished pretty much. So you can use both of them. This one is actually more predictable and more dependable because sometimes your actor might take longer to finish or less time. So you're either going to be running into errors or you're going to be waiting unnecessarily. But anyways, once this completes, then we want to get the data from the actor run. So you're running again a GET request now to this specific URL, and here we add the dataset ID variable that is going to come when your actor had completed running. And then you can see the headers again, the Apify API. Guys, please don't use my API, by the way. And then once we get the data, now we can throw it inside an LLM and have it rewrite that content. Of course, you can also feed this LLM a database of your previous text so it knows how you write. If you're gonna do that like in a system message. But here is the article title, text, URL, and then this is the data we retrieved from Apify. And then we here is the specific prompt. I'm not gonna go through this, guys, but you can pause the video and just read it yourself. So, yep, and then here is the other part of it. These are long prompts, by the way, but you can see content approach, start with a hook or provocative statement, present common problems or challenge, share personal experience, provide practical, actionable solutions. So yeah, it's very in-depth. Yanis AI-focused LinkedIn post creation framework. So yeah, this is supposedly my secret recipe for writing really good posts. I'm not even that active on LinkedIn. And then of course, when it completes, it sends a response back to the main agent. And if it fails, then it just tries again. And this is, I believe, running 401. Yeah, 4.0. Why did I say 401? Anyways, let's move on. So this is the Google Drive agent. And as you can see, it has access to a bunch of different tools. So get Google Docs, create Google Docs, update Google Docs, get a URL of a doc, and also get the share file. So again, this is called by a different workflow. This is the pin data that we have. So create a document with the following information as body. Of course, this is just some random gibberish text. The title of the document is Hey. So yeah, the source for prompt we define it below. The input comes from the trigger. And then here is an example of a prompt. And as you can see, we haven't spent too much time with this prompt like the other ones. So, yeah, and then all the tools, this is the Get Google Docs tool. So it gets a Google document from your drive. To do that, you need the ID of that drive. So this is where this comes into the picture. So it gets the information of that drive based on the title of the document, or it can be whatever, even a sheet, and then it gets the ID from the URL. So every single let's see here in the contact. So you see this is a sheet, but it includes the ID inside the URL. So this is the ID of this sheet. Yeah, so this is the Get Google Docs tool. And then here we have the Create Google Docs tool. So of course you can configure the specific folder or place you want your docs to be saved. And then this title comes from the Agent 2. So this tool right here allows you to update existing Google documents. And of course, if you're going to update a document, you first need either the ID of it or the URL. Then you can see some of the settings right here. And then the text, of course, comes from the agent. Then we have the Google Drive tool. You can see all the settings here, guys, as well. And then we have the share link. So this gets a share link for the specific folder or document that you want to, this works for both. You can also have just file or folder. But yeah, so this is going to allow let's say your agent to give you a shareable link or to send a shareable link to somebody on email. And then here is the response back to our agent. Now here's another Apify tool, or at least a tool that is using an Apify scraper. So this is for the YouTube agent. And what this allows you to do is update your YouTube account through your agent. In our case here, I think we have just an update video tool, but you can add more to it. So again, this is called by another workflow. We set up the variable, and of course the variable is just going to be the URL of your video. This will only work for your videos, of course. And also, if you want to connect any Apify actor or scraper to your N8N workflows or make, then you're going to have to first run it on the Apify platform. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do it. I think this is the only piece of code we use in the entire system. And it's nothing complicated. You can even do it through an LLM node. All this does is it extracts the ID of the video from the URL. So you can take a look at this code right here. Maybe you want to use it in another build. But we get the ID of the video because later down the workflow, when we want to update our video on YouTube, we're going to need the ID of that video. So this is where we're using it. This is actually the only place I think we're using it. And then again, we set all the details from our Apify scraper as variables. So our API, the ID of the actor. This is the actor we're using here, by the way. So YouTube transcript scraper. And the way this tool works, guys, pretty much is whenever you upload your video on YouTube, then it can go ahead and scrape the video, get a transcription or a transcribed version of it in text, and then based on that text, you can generate a title or you can generate a description or even tags. But this is what it does. The Apify setup here is pretty much the same as the one I've shown you before. So then we run the actor with all the details. Kind of covered that before, only this time, of course, a different actor. And then instead of using the wait node, well, we have two safety mechanisms here. So we wait until the actor was completed. So that was the deactivated node in the previous workflow. So you can see how it's set up here. But even if that finishes, then we also make sure that we can get the data. And if we cannot get it, then it kind of tries again. And then it goes into an OpenAI node. So this is running GPT-4o. And as you can see, we are, let's have a look at this actually. So You are a specialized AI assistant focused on analyzing video content and creating structured marketing materials. When given a video transcript, you analyze it, you generate, you get 2 sets of tags. Here are some guidelines on how we want you to write your descriptions and your titles. Here are some rules, and here is how we want the output to be. And of course, we give it access to the transcript of that video, which comes through the Apify actor. Then we output the content as JSON. And then here is where we use the YouTube node. So of course, you have to connect it with your YouTube account. The operation is update, and then the video ID is what we get by that code node prior. So we extract the ID from the URL. And then the title, the description tags, as well as the regular tags on a video, they come from the OpenAI node. And then of course, the response goes back to our agents. Okay, so the next agent is the LinkedIn poster agent. So it's pretty evident what it does is just post content on your LinkedIn account. For whatever reason, I need to reconnect my LinkedIn credentials here, although they are already connected. I'm not sure exactly why I need to do it again. But anyway, so let's have a look inside the prompt. This is actually a very simple prompt too. The interesting node here that I think we haven't seen before is the structure output parser. So we want to output our content in a specific JSON format, just so we can then use it inside LinkedIn and have it be organized. So create post as a person, and then it's just going to post the text or the content that the agent has generated, and then respond to you or the manager agent, or try again. The next tool here is the research agent. This is actually fairly simple. So it has access to Wikipedia, SERP API, Hacker News, and Perplexity. So this is like the general research agent. We also have a dedicated travel research agent, which I'm going to show you in a bit. Where is it? Well, somewhere here. Yeah, so the general research agent is pretty much specifically used to research, let's say, content. Let's say if you ask the agent to do research on how Elon Musk was raised, how was his childhood, for example, then it's going to use this one. But if you ask something that is related to either flights, hotels, or restaurants, then it's going to use this specific tailor-made travel agent. But yeah, so Wikipedia, this is like a native tool inside N8N, so you can just add it directly to your account. I don't think you even need to set up any like credentials for it. Yeah, you don't. Then we have SERP API. So to use SERP API, just type SERP API on Google, create your account, and then get your API keys and just connect them to your agent. And SERP API is pretty much like a Google search. So this is what it does. You don't even need this. You can create your own Google search tool using Apify scrapers, which is much cheaper because SERP API is quite expensive. It's costing you like, I think it's $75 a month or something. Then we have Hacker News, which I never read. And then of course we have Perplexity. And the way to interact with Perplexity is through an API call. So you're gonna need to have an account on Perplexity, and then this is how it would look like. So we basically make a post request to Perplexity. It runs our query, it generates a response, and then it sends it back to us. So if you're wondering what Perplexity is, if you've been living like under a rock, it's pretty much, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe ChatGPT with like real-time search capability, or maybe ChatGPT on steroids. I don't know. Okay, so moving on, let's have a look at the travel agent. So this is again another research agent that is specifically tailored to get you travel related information. As you can see, it's not using SERP API or Perplexity or ChatGPT to do any research at all. It's just using Google Places. So Google Places is this feature Google has that allows you to, what the name says, pretty much find information about restaurants, hotels, flights, and you're going to need to create your account there and get your API key again. And that way you can send your request that comes from the trigger. In this case is find me, let's see, a sushi restaurant near Rotterdam Central, Netherlands, and it's going to send the request to Google Places, get the data for you, and then you can retrieve the data. This is a prompt right here, and then of course if it fails, you can try again. Now this is the Google Calendar agent, so you can get events on your calendar, you can create events on your calendar. You can create events on your calendar with an attendee. Okay guys, so moving on, here we have the Zoom agent, and let's quickly get into this because I can see my camera's memory is running out. So the Zoom agent, I haven't seen too many of these on YouTube, but it allows you to either create events on Zoom or get your existing events on Zoom. And here is how the setup is configured. So we have a switch. If the variable is equal to create, then we want to create an event. And if the variable is equal to get, we want to get an event. So to create an event, it uses the logic above. And then to get an event, it uses this logic here. The reason we have an aggregator at this point is because we want to get all the events that we have coming up for the specified dates. And then we aggregate them together in one single chunk of text because they return us multiple variables, and then we put them inside the LLM so it can provide the response back to us. And then here is a humble WhatsApp agent, I guess, that allows you to send messages through WhatsApp. Very simple. Again, we're using the structured output parser in order to formulate the responses for the WhatsApp node. This was pretty much the entire build, guys. I ran out of breath. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm gonna leave this entire template, all 17 or 30 workflows, how many they are, inside my school community. So there's gonna be a link in the description. There I also teach you how to get clients for your automations agency. I'm also doing a course with the founder of 1inbox, which is a platform that allows you to build AI voice agents. So if you wanna join it, go ahead. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.